Okay, the mic was muted. Oh, and the music's playing. What's up? Welcome to the first ever Viperio All Access live stream. I'm Connor Rabet. I am head of media over at Viperio. Yeah, basically today I'm gonna be joined here by Chris. If we can cut into him now. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Connor. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's nice to finally be on a live stream after such a long time. So no, I'm very excited to have a chat with you, Connor. You're always a pleasure to be with.
Awesome. So yeah, basically, Chris, do you want to basically explain what this whole Viperio All Access series is gonna be?
Yeah, that's fine. So Viperio All Access is our take at giving you guys, our followers, a bit more insight to a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, giving you a bit of insight that might not necessarily be reflected through just performance alone. So especially at times now, for example, we're in an off season for both Counter-Strike and League of Legends, that we can just continue to put out content so that you know that we're working really hard behind the scenes to make sure that when it comes to the 2021 season that we're ready in all the prep that we've done is executed well. So this is just a fun little way that we can further engage with our fans and keep pushing out content when there's no matches to watch. And it's just something a little different. So hopefully that you all enjoy. Last time we checked, we had 12 viewers right now. So hope you're all having a good time so far. And yeah, hopefully we talk about some things that'll keep you interested.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe for the start here, we can maybe talk about what our roles are in Viperio, each of us. You're more important than me, so
Yeah.
I'll let you kick it off with what your role is because you have significant advantage over me.
I mean, everyone plays their part. Everyone's a cog within that large machine, so no one's invaluable. But yeah, just about me, I am Christopher Sword, founder and managing director of Viperio. I started Viperio in 2013, and I've been running it ever since. The nature of my role means that I'm doing a lot more of the business aspects of running an org. So that would be things like the accounts, seeking sponsorships, sort of making a strategy that helps us thrive within the community. So that there's some of the areas that I particularly focus on. I don't know if you want to potentially talk a bit about you, Connor.
Yeah, as head of media, I kind of look after what kind of media gets put out on social media channels and stuff like that, and looking after stuff like this live stream, obviously that's going on right now. Whether it be something like organizing this or say a potential like release of a product or something like along them lines, or if it's a website or anything in general. Especially when we did the new rebrand, I was me and Gareth and the rest of the team. We all worked pretty tight in it, and we made something that would turned out to be pretty well. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that's about my job limits. I do cool media things, and that's about it.
No, that's a great explanation, Connor. And I think you said it right. There's other members of the team that aren't here on this call right now that also put in work, and hopefully we can get them on future editions of this
Hundred
to
percent.
let them
I
have
would
a say.
love. I think it'd be great to have some of the rest of the team on the series.
Very
So
true.
yeah, we'll talk a bit about the organization itself, like how things are going, like
Yeah.
with recent changes, like direction for the org in the near future and stuff like that.
So this one isn't necessarily recent, but it's definitely from this year. We obviously made a very big change, deciding to change our branding, getting a new logo, which personally I didn't plan for, but we had a member of the team called Gareth, who's a professional designer. He actually came to us and said, I actually think you could potentially go a different direction with the way your org is branded. And he'd actually done all of the rebrand in advance. And he presented this to us and was like, here's how you could look. Here's all the things that you can do with this new brand. And he just sold it to us very well. And I think we thought, yeah, we actually think that that's a very good vision and we want in on that. And I think one of the good things about Gareth is he's not just a designer who's just learned through experience. He's done these qualifications. He has a degree. He's been to university, so he knows how to do the design process from end to end. So he would think about things like sort of what our mission is, what our values are, and that there's reasoning behind the design rather than it simply it looks good.
Yeah,
He also thought about very in depth about things like which fonts we'd use, what weight they would be, where they'd be used, whether it be heading or subheading. So we've got a very established brand guidelines now, which is something that for the old designs that I'd done mainly, we didn't have. And as we go into a new decade, want to be a more professional business, it's considerations like that that really help set us apart from other teams. Additionally, we've got other things like we continue to run our League of Legends division, competing in the official UK Division 2, which is the UKL. And we also picked up a Counter-Strike team for ESEA Season 35. So we've got two main esports divisions and all of the business structure around it, which means we've got a very well-rounded esports organization in a sense. And things are going well. Obviously, COVID comes in and can affect things, but we work around that and we keep pushing on. And hopefully, 2021 will be a chance to further excel within the UK scene.
Yeah. Speaking of excelling further in the scene, do we have any upcoming plans maybe that we can tease, or any teams that we're potentially looking at involving in the future that we don't have right this second?
Yeah, so we're actively trying to rebuild our UK League of Legends team. I know that we've been quite public saying that we're picking up players for that. So if there are UK League of Legends players that are keen to join an organization, definitely reach out to Alan Reed, who is our general manager for League of Legends. We'll likely be keeping a Counter Strike team for ESEA 30 season 36. We managed to avoid relegation, so I'm very keen to keep that spot if we can field at least 2 out of 5 of the original team. And there's definitely other leagues that I have on my eye. So we've seen the UK Division 2 pop up, and that's something that was very keen to get involved with. Unfortunately, we're not this season, but UK Rainbow Six is definitely a scene that's caught my eye. And with other scenes in general, I'm quite opportunistic. So if a team comes along and they seem like a good match for us, I'm always willing to consider any scene really, if the opportunity is viable.
Yeah. Talking as well, like, backing up a bit, back talking about the
Yeah.
organization.
Hmm.
Recently we announced the new fan of the year concept that we're doing. Um,
Yeah.
but I think we should maybe talk about the actual decision to launch it, because we've not actually seen any other organizations at all do like a fan of the year, from what I know anyway.
Yeah, so the fan of the year is an idea that I've seen in traditional sports, and as I look for different ways that we can further put out more content, recognize our followers, a fan of the year just seems like a very normal thing to do. With a team, whether it be small or large, you have casual followers who just follow just so they're aware of the activities, and you do have those more hardcore, die-hard fans that really get behind the brand and really like to see it do well. And as an owner of a team, I want to be able to acknowledge and recognize the people that go above and beyond, and be able to say, I've spotted you. I can see all this time and passion you're investing into our brand. And I feel that a fan of the year recognition award is a great way to do that, to really highlight someone who's gone above and beyond, showing real support for the players, the staff, the streamers. And as I say, it's something that's not necessarily been done in esports. I'm not saying we're the first, and we definitely won't be the last. But it's something that will be a first for Viperio, and I feel it's something nice to do, especially with the current climate that we're in.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Actually, we have some viewers submitted questions that we received over the last couple of days,
Yeah.
via Twitter DMs and Instagram and stuff like that. I'll read one of them out here for us to answer.
Yeah.
Particularly you to answer, because you'll know more about this exact subject than I would. But it's
Hmm.
basically, any chance are you guys looking at picking up a Call of Duty roster for events and challengers this year?
Well, I think I probably said a little bit this before when it came to just generally picking up teams. I'm very opportunistic, so if the right team comes along and they have a needs and wants that fits us quite well, I'm definitely willing to consider it. Call of Duty was our first game. Some of our first tournaments were in Call of Duty, on Call of Duty Ghosts, competing in totes with like an amateur team. Sometimes I'd be playing, and I'm nowhere near good enough to do well. So Call of Duty, that is our roots. So it's always a scene that has a place in my heart. Whether it's the best scene to be involved with, I would debate that. But yeah, if there was the right roster, and the challenger scene looked appealing, I would definitely be keen to get involved. It just depends on who contacts us, when they contact us, and how things are. But yeah, it's definitely something that could be explored.
Yeah, I think it's a great explanation of what we're looking for in general about rosters and stuff like that. We're usually pretty
Yeah.
open, as long as we have as if there's a good, strong proposal. We're always down to
Hmm.
talk, which is it's a great thing.
Exactly.
Talking about ESEA, season 35, we recently just avoided relegation in the ESEA main, finishing
Yes, we
6 wins
did.
with 10 losses. Um, yeah, do you want to talk about bit more about that maybe?
Yeah, can do. So this was the first time we'd ever competed in ESEA main, which is, if I remember correctly, the third or fourth tier in the ESL/ESEA ladder. So this was the highest we'd competed in within that ranking system. And it got off to a rough start. So our first 3 games, we went 0-3. We then did pick up our first win, but then we went to go on and lose another 3. So it's never good for a team to be sat there with a 1 win, 6 loss record. But the boys started to turn it back, and I think since they knew that potentially they could avoid relegation if they did well, that sort of kept them driving to get those wins. It wasn't like all hope was gone, and yeah, they managed to finish 6-10, and it was a very tense last match. They had to win that series in order to avoid that relegation. They played a UK team who went by the name of Immigration Control, and they won that series very closely. It was 16-14, so they just clinched that main spot. So that does mean that Viperio can compete in the SEA Main 30 season 36, as long as we hold 2 out of 5 of the original roster. Uh, just so you're aware, I am actively trying to work with LJM and Crismo. They are the most likely to stay on that roster, and potentially if they can team up with 3 new players or potentially some of the other players as well. If we can keep that spot, it would be very nice to continue to compete in the SEA Main, potentially get a better record and sort of push for a advanced promotion in maybe 1 or 2 seasons. But yeah, it's been a very good season. I know that in terms of streaming, it was one of the games we've done a lot of the streaming ourselves. While other games, there's an official broadcast, we were streaming that output. And depending on the series, there was some well watched games and some not so much. So it's been a fun learning experience as well for the organization, not just the players.
Yeah, and there seemed to be pretty good fan engagement as well, regarding the whole ESEA stuff, whether it be on different social
Yeah,
platforms. And talking about fan engagement, the plan for to drive future engagement kind of stuff. What do we have planned that we can talk about? I don't know how much we can talk about. I do know there's a lot of big
yeah, that's
stuff
fine.
planned, but I'll let you talk maybe a bit more in depth about what we have actually planned future wise.
Well, I think you can say that. And I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of the things, uh, I think UK esports in particular has a bit of a reputation for saying big things planned,
Yeah.
and then sometimes things never happen. And again, as I say, this sort of Viperia All Access, it gives you a bit of an insight into our ideas and the directions we like to take. Whether or not that actually materializes into something or not, we'll have to see in the future. But fan engagement in particular is definitely an area where I see opportunity, especially for amateur teams, to sort of differentiate themselves and further interact with followers in order to drive that growth. I've been quite public on my personal Twitter saying that teams just tweeting out polls like "What's your favorite pizza topping?" or "What's your favorite colored socks?" That's not real
You
fan
can't beat a good
engagement.
pizza topping, can you?
That's true, but we can debate that in private, Connor. Maybe not on the Viperia Twitter. Uh, but yeah, like polls like that, they're not real engagement with the team. That's my view anyway. And I feel there's a lot of different ways that organizations can interact with their fan communities without relying on that cheap content, which doesn't really add value to the brand, and it doesn't really add value to the followers either. So there's a lot of different ways that I want to try and develop fan engagement going into 2021, whether that be through things like a Viperio app. That can be quite costly, but that would be an ideal situation. So that a follower can just go on their phone, click an app, get all the latest results, all the latest news. I have features like predict the score. I would love it if fans could predict our scores and be ranked on their accuracy or the number of games they've predicted right,
Hmm.
and just have a bit of competition between our followers, because I feel that's a really fun way to just get fans stuck invested in the brand, rather than just following it on Twitter, seeing a score and be like, oh, congrats, or unlucky, and then moving on the timeline. Fan engagement is definitely going to be a way that if teams want to survive long term, it's something that they're going to have a real focus on. Otherwise, they're just going to fall behind competitors and be left behind the pack. But yeah, that's sort of my vision for fan engagement. That's a real development area for Viperia going into the
Yeah.
next year, and hopefully things develop, whether it be next year or years after.
I think one of the next things that I definitely had to bring up was
Hmm.
our current use of TikTok as an esports organization in UK, because I just whipped it up on my phone
Yeah,
here,
that's
the
fine.
Viperio TikTok, which I'm not following.
Hmm.
That's not great. I'm not. I know I am. Don't worry about it. um, the
Hmm.
success that we've recently had using that TikTok as a social media platform, like our fourth most recent post there has 127k views, with
Yeah.
interaction of what almost 20,000 likes, which is
Yes,
insane.
that's correct.
Um, and I don't know if it's just I might be wrong, but we're probably one of the only like UK esports teams like taking advantage of TikTok to its full benefit. Uh, and I mean, I know you've been looking after TikTok because you've been loving it. I think a bit more than anyone else has anyway on the team. Um,
Yeah.
with all your
I mean,
memes.
yeah, I mean, you've kind of said it. Like TikTok's kind of a little bit of a guilty pleasure of mine, but the reason for that is that it does present a very good new growth opportunity.
Hmm.
You kind of said that not many UK teams are doing it, and I feel you're right. It's been a platform that a lot of team owners tweet saying, "Oh, I'd love someone to come in and help us work with TikTok," and they tweet that, but they're not actually just starting anyway. They should just start uploading to it. I know that Excel have done quite well on TikTok. They have a good following, but they're large anyway.
Yeah,
And I've seen other teams like Enclave, London, Vector before they folded. So there are other teams that are starting to see that. But I definitely feel that we've been one of the more consistent. We've actually stuck at it, and it is
yeah,
starting to have results. So right now we're just short of 2,000 followers on the platform, which does put it in our top five platforms. Might be our top three most followed social medias
and
now.
it probably has to be one of the biggest
Uh,
growth because of how quickly we've actually
yeah,
gained that almost 2,000 followers. Because
exactly. And I think that's the reason why that platform's so good is because you can get that organic growth quite easly. The fact it has a For You page
yeah,
where TikTok identifies posts that they think people will like and push that content to them, it means that brands can make an account, make one piece of content that potentially TikTok algorithm identifies as viral, and they can just gain followers from day one. It's
yeah,
not as if you have to spend hours investing, developing that audience. I was actually reading an article because Charlie D'Amelio hit 100 million followers on TikTok.
hmm,
It was talking about how long that took. If I remember correctly, it was under 2 years. Well, if you look at the likes of PewDiePie, who hit 100 million on YouTube, that took 9. So TikTok has a real fast growth potential,
yeah,
and as an organization, that's something that it's ideal for us. If we can potentially push out content that's quite easily seen by a lot of people, as you said, our last 4 posts, one of them hit 100k plus views, 20k likes. That's the sort of content that's going to help us get new fans faster than our competition. So
hmm.
it's definitely a platform that is something that I want to spend more time on, and it's quite a fun one as well. It's not so serious, business oriented. I can
Definitely not
upload
watching all the
fun and
TikToks. It's
silly
definitely not
videos.
as serious, but they're all
So,
very
so yeah, it's,
entertaining.
it's a great one to have.
Um,
Yeah, very true.
Talking about now, recently we had our own hyper play in the JBL Quantum Clash. It
Yeah,
was up against the likes of people such as what Vicstar and other
yeah.
massive content creators. And what he also did he get into the semifinals or was it quarterfinals?
So, ooh, so they got into the quarterfinals. They were in the top.
Quarterfinals.
No, semis. It was the top four because it was
Yeah.
8. So yeah, I mean, Hyper, you didn't tell me about this. It's a bit of a fun one. I just saw it when you started streaming. I believe he found out quite last minute too. But yeah, he
Mhm.
was competing in the JBL Quantum Clash, which was an Apex Legends tournament with creators.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I've actually got
the
the graphic up here, and it looks massive. Like
yeah, it was a
the team that was
stacked
there.
event, and it had quite a low profile, which is a little sad. But yeah, it's great to see Viperio creators getting involved. And as you say, there's the likes of Vicstar, who's one of the largest creators on the planet. So it was definitely a good event. So props to Hyper, not only getting invited, but also doing well in the tournament.
Yeah.
And I mean, as an esports team, when we have our competitive teams and our streamers, I do like it when the gap between the two divisions is kind of merged,
Hmm.
so that our streamers are competing and our players are streaming. Like it's nice to have everyone work together and see everyone thrive. So yeah, big props to Brandon or Hyper for getting invited and competing in that. It was a great event and it was a fun watch.
Yeah, definitely. I think that will probably wrap up the first episode or first live event anyway.
Yeah,
At the minute of the Vive Hero All Access stream. I'm thinking we
Hmm.
should definitely get into doing this a lot more often, and would love to have probably a lot more guests on, especially going through maybe the Viperio's content creator team or management team and stuff, and
Yeah.
basically getting to know just a lot about each and every person. But yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
No
And
worries, Connor. Thank you for hosting.
yeah, no worries. Definitely a different thing for me, not the usual
Hmm.
sort of thing that I would do. But yeah, if you guys that are watching want to follow me or Chris, our socials are currently on the screen right here. And Chris, yours is somewhere. If you point somewhere in your screen,
Hmm.
it's on there.
So which corner?
Other corner.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it, and we're definitely, hopefully, going to get a lot more of these in the near future. And yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you all in the next live event, which will hopefully be very, very soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.